遇见有趣的灵魂，活出真实的自己。大家好，欢迎来到弹心社，让我们一起谈心、谈情、谈音乐。Welcome to GenerousTalk, an intercultural conversation on music, health, and lifestyle. Enjoy!
Hello everyone! Happy Chinese New Year! Happy Lunar New Year! It's the Tiger year, so hope everyone like Tiger or have all those energy you want. You're strong, brave, and in Chinese, 虎虎生威. So that's my best wishes for all of you. So this is the 13th episode for 弹心社GenerousTalk, and this is the first English episode so far. Like I said, as I planned for this episode, for this podcast, I wanted to make it a bilingual podcast because things I had been living in Boston for about 7 years and spent my 20s, most of my 20s at Berkeley College of Music and all those wonderful people around me. I feel that English becomes such an important part of my life too. And I feel when I speak in English or when I speak in Chinese and verse I speak Shanghainese, which is really my mother tongue, I have very different personality, or let's say it more precisely, different aspects of me, different part of my personality kind of comes through with different language. Isn't it amazing? I feel language is not just words, putting words together in a grammatically correct order, but it's a way of thinking, way of perceiving this world, way of processing this world, and with all the experience we had in different language environment, it shapes us, and I can say it informed who I am, the part of myself. So that's why I wanted to make it a bilingual. So far we have 12 Chinese episodes uploaded, and wow, time flies. And I've been back to Shanghai. This is my September, October, November, December, January, and now it's February. So wow, almost 6 months, not yet, like the beginning of 6 months. So it's a long adjusting time, the moving across the world, across the continent during a global pandemic. It's challenges on top of challenges on top of challenges, but I made it, and there's lots of transition going on. I'm still transitioning, right? Like this new role as well as a podcaster, and transitioning back to kind of speak Chinese. Predominantly speaking Chinese and working with clients in Chinese while in the 7 years I was predominantly speaking English and working with clients English and other like Spanish or any other languages. That's a huge transition for me, and there's lots of moving parts, but I am enjoying it. I am experiencing it and facing it, and and so this episode marks the beginning of English uploads, and I already have several cool interviews in English with with some very awesome people. We had all those, conversation that we think about issues in depth, sharing our personal stories, and there's a lot of idea exchange and new ideas or perception emerging in the process. Yeah, I can't wait to share those with you. But first, I have to do an English introduction. So, why do I want to do this podcast? Well, first of all, I love having deep conversations and generous conversation. That's why it's called Generous Talk, right? They're generous conversation with all kinds of people, like people from different backgrounds, different culture, different kind of life paths, different career, and to share our experience with each other and to remain curious and to understand each other. And I feel that's how we enrich each other's life. We only have, you can say in a certain way, from a certain perspective, that we have kind of similar, how long we can live. We have a certain number of years we can be alive, but the depths of how much we feel, how much we experience, who we experience life with, that's, I see it's the depths of our life, how rich our life can be. I think that's also one of the reasons why I love being a therapist, a music therapist. If you're working with my clients, also enrich my life. We enrich each other's life. And I feel this is a very, just meeting people, being curious, being open, and get to know each other and have deep understanding and really listening to each other is a very precious way of growth. And I believe it's a fundamental of our life experience. And I have met so many people in my life that, because our encounter bring me insights, bring me wow moment, bring me tears, bring me touched me, transformed me, changed me, and I love so much of those encounters. And another reason, because I love to have those in-depth conversations with my friends, and sometimes it happens pretty often during our conversation, I suddenly feel like, oh my gosh, wait a minute, what we just talked about, what we just discussed about, and all our ideas, our thoughts, it's such a historical moment. I wish we could record it, and I wish I could share with more people. But at the same time, if you are someone who love those conversations, generous conversation with others, it's hard to capture the juice, right? You cannot replicate it. It's hard to replicate exactly what was happening, because sometimes it's so spontaneous, and it's about the context, the entire conversation you have, and then boom, you have those fireworks, those highlights, and I want to record them. So I start off kind of doing the podcast with the people I enjoy to have a talk with, and then we record it. And that's why I call the podcast Generous Talk, because it's coming out naturally without much filters, and we all learn something, and we all enjoy the conversation ourselves. I think that must be the fundamental, the foundation of it. If we don't enjoy it, I think the audience won't enjoy it, right? You won't enjoy it. So first of all, that's how it started. And then I also need to share about what 弹心社 means. If you don't speak Chinese, it's a perfect time for you to learn a bit about Chinese. So by the way, I know a lot of my Chinese speaking audience are looking forward to my English episode. For first reason, I said, I seem to have different personality when I talk and speaking Chinese versus English, and they're like, oh my god, we want to hear it. And then the second reason is, oh man, my mind just went blank. It happens sometime, right? Yeah, especially when like the last 5-6 months, I've been, because I'm also involved in project that's based in other time zones, so sometimes we have to do those late night calls, and it can easily mess up my sleeping schedule, but maybe that's the only time we can actually all meet due to different time zone. So that's what can happen to my brain when we have sleep disruption or sleep deprivation. Anyway, so what's the second reason? Oh yeah, I want to talk about the meaning of the podcast, the Chinese one. Oh yeah, the second reason of why my Chinese speaking audience are so interested to hear my English episode, because they want to learn English. It's a perfect way, right? And vice versa. If you are an English speaker and you are interested about Chinese, I think this podcast can serve some purpose for that as well. And it's also a gateway for you to know about Chinese culture, the people, what's happening on the ground, and of course my own experiences or those authentic conversations. So that's the two reasons. And back to the meaning of the Chinese name, 弹心社. There's 3 characters. The first one is I use like double pun. You can say it's almost a triple pun name. So 弹 means play the piano, play an instrument, that the play. But also can mean resistance, mean resiliency. And the second one is 心 means your heart. 社 is community, society, a community, a group of people gather together for shared values, shared vision. So when you say 弹心社, it can mean like resilient heart, people with resilient heart. It can also mean play the heart, like play my heart like a Spanish guitar, right? And also there's a third layer, the way we pronounce it, because in Chinese sometimes we pronounce something the same way, but they're written in different character and they can mean totally different thing. So the third layer is we have those generous conversation, just like you can have with your trusted friends. So that's what is 弹心社 mean. In English, I choose the word GenerousTalk. Yeah, it's surprising that when I made the name, I haven't found any other name. Other podcasts use GenerousTalk, so great. And I hope, you gain something, you learn something new, you gain some inspiration from listening to the podcast. And because of, it's bilingual and it was my own experience, I really feel like it's because of those very open-minded, generous conversation that people from different background, we can find our common ground. We can better understand each other, because a lot of those conflicts or misunderstanding is rooted in, ignorance. I don't know about it, or never saw something like that, or never heard about something like that. Or some people, maybe they don't want to listen. That's where the misunderstanding and conflicts and wars coming from. And I hope as the podcast grow, I hope can serve a purpose that it's an intercultural to enhance intercultural understanding. And I invite people from all kinds of background, from my social circle, from all my cross-cultural experiences, people who are in the music industry, in social entrepreneurship, who are music therapists, of course, as a music therapist myself, people who are in mental health field, or who are educators. So I'm bringing all those people together to share, and I hope that can help us to have better understanding, hence bring more collaborations, bring more love and peace. So okay. And also there's is that the third reason or fourth reason? Yeah. And I also want to share a lot of my observation. I feel studying abroad and living in a different culture, especially I feel some place, so special, like Berkeley College Music. We are all artists, musicians from around the world, and to immerse myself in such an environment give me opportunity to kind of step out of my own upbringing, my own culture, and I got to examine a lot of things. Otherwise, if I were not in this type of special environment, otherwise I will not able to examine, I will not able to see through at all, or I would not be challenged this way at all. And that bring me a lot of change. And yes, and a lot of people asking me, Xinyu, do you experience reverse culture shock? I'm like, yeah, definitely. And I want people to know, I want to have a channel to share with people what I experienced and what changed me, what transformed me, what helped me to grow. And I feel to talk about it is a great way. Yeah, so that's the third or fourth reason. The next reason, when I plan to have this podcast, I remind me of, so there's one dream. I could say I have realized a lot of dreams in the last decade, and there's still one dream is to be a podcaster, to use my voice, authentic voice, to connect with people. Maybe I will reach someone. I will reach you. Like maybe you are in a car, maybe you are doing something. Maybe you're alone. Maybe you are happy now. Maybe you are struggling. In any situation, my voice can reach you and connect and bring you comfort. Because when I was little, I listened to those. It was taped, that was before computer become popular. I was listening to those taped recorded stories, and it was all those voices that brought me to those beautiful places. It's not physically bring me to those places, but emotionally, like mentally, spiritually, and I could travel and I could touch other people's life, and thanks to technology we have today, now I can be on the other end, and I want to play that role. So I really appreciate, I think that's the really advantage of technology, even though technology may not always be used as a good way. We can talk about it in future episode, but this is what technology can bring us to help me achieve this dream, and I'm very happy to got to share with you. All right, the sixth reason, and I sort of touched upon that, but my name, it connects with my name. So my name星宇. So Cherub is my English name. I chose it for myself, and my Chinese name my parents gave me is 星宇. Xing means a star, Yu means the universe. So their hope for me was to be a star in the universe, which means I had my own place, I had my own running channel, I'm surrounded by lots of planets, and we have those gravity, even with other star or other planets, maybe looks like we don't have anything connect us, but there are those gravity that connects us, and we are impacting each other. And star shines lights and warmth, and I hope this podcast can be as like a star, a light in this universe, will attract people who share the similar mindset, similar value as me. And this is the community, like 弹心社, right? 社 is community. We connect with people, so we can connect with people who also, values like empathy, values growth, values the love for life, love for creativity, and be open and curious about each other, be open, curious about different opinions, and we live a conscious life. So that's my hope. And if you feel like this is talking about you, please leave a comment, leave a message, and let me know, because wow, that's very quickly we come to the downside of technology, right? I can connect with you. Without technology, you probably won't be able to hear my voice, but also because technology, if you listen to this episode, I can only see boom, one more view, and I don't know the people, the person behind that number, and I want to know who you are, who's listening, and how are you feeling now, and what brought you, like what kind of feeling that brought you, what kind of inspiration this podcast brought you, what are you thinking about it? So please share, so I can know you rather than just the number, one more view on the platform. Okay, all right, so I think then also share what do you want to hear more, what topic interests you, and I will take into consideration, because I want this to be a dialogue, dialogue with the guests I invite, but also dialogue with you, the listener. So towards the end, I'm gonna share. Okay, so I'll include solo, like today, like monologue. I'll share what I see, my experience, maybe something about music therapy, my personal journey, maybe clinical story, my student story, or something happening in the world, and maybe I with my personal professional background, I offer the way how I see it. So I talk about those things, and sometimes I invite guests to have one-on-one conversation, or we may be having a round table, like 3 or 4 people together talking about the topic that we all care about. And of course, we have music. We did recently one of my good friends who also graduated from Berkeley Global Jazz Institute. So I invited him to share about his music, like use music for self-exploration. And we had another guest coming along who's also an expressive art therapist. So we talk about how music can be used as a way for self-exploration. That's just such a fun. We talk about like why do we choose the instruments we choose, and what does it mean, like what's our relationship, and all those good stuff. So yeah, so share. And so we have those kind of conversation. We have the music on board. So that's all for today, and hope to see you for the next episode. Bye bye.
感谢你的收听，我们下一期不见不散。